Hello and welcome to 365 Days of Excelling with Clive. Today is day 122 and we are looking at how we can query a website and get data like this. Once we get this data, we then can build any report we want. For example, here I'm just showing the country that have done the most population growth, or that is the most population growth. Like you can see here, Ethiopia is showing that there is 2.57% growth from prior period, and these other countries have a drop, and so on and so on. So I want to show you the first part of this, of getting the data from a website. So the website we are going to be using is this one, the Worldometer info, where there is the population by country. So you can see the population by country. So this is the 2020 population. You can see China on top with 1.4 billion, and this is the number one here. So how can I then bring this table here, and such that if this table changes and I just refresh in my workbook, I get refreshed data? This can be daily data you will be querying. For example, if you want to query a table for a sporting event, or a table for weather report, or whatever you want to pull in your Excel workbook and share your Excel workbook, or do some analysis and then share your end result Excel workbook, how can you query a table from a website? So the first thing you have to know though is that this data have to be in a table format. So how do you see that the data is in a table format? If you right click here and say inspect, you will see here there will be a window here. You can see that it's starting with T body, which means that a table body. So if it's in a table, then, or you can see here it has a table ID. So if it's in a table, it will have this table ID. You might have some data which looks like a table, but it's actually not a table. So it won't have these TRs, TDs, and so on and so on. So this is the first step you have to do to make sure that the data you want to query is within a table. Now that you have established that it's within a table, then you head straight away to your Excel workbook, or you can just copy the link of this page. So I copy the link of the page. Then in my workbook, I go and say from web. They need to ask me for URL. That's where I paste exactly the link that I have copied from my website. Then I can say, okay, I don't need to do advanced. Advanced is when you want to change a lot of information. You want to put the HTTP. We have no idea what these are. So don't worry about this. We just need to go basic, and we put the URL and we say, okay. Okay, depending on your internet speed, it might be a few seconds, or it might take a minute or so, but it should be really fast. Then you can choose. Now you can see here, I can see, it says documents, and it says table. So here you want table, right? You can also preview and do web view to see exactly if you are querying the same table you were looking at. So this is exactly the same table I was looking at. So I'm happy. This is the table I want to query. Okay, then I just say table view to just see the table. Then you can see that I have quite a number of columns, but in my workbook, I only want 3 columns, or first 4 columns. So I'm going to need to transform it. So, sorry, I should have not said load. I will just go and delete the loaded table. Okay, it has loaded everything. Let me just go and edit it. Okay, I would have said transform. I wanted to just say transform. Then you can see in other videos, I was using the transform. I didn't load initially. So you can just do that as well. So on my transformation sheet, I can then say, okay, which columns do I want to keep? I want to keep the one with numbers. I want to keep the country dependence. I want to keep population and yearly change. So the rest I want to delete. So you have many options. You have mainly two options to delete the rest of the columns. One is you have to go and select each of the columns and delete them, or select multiple columns or all the columns that you don't need and delete them, or you select the columns that you need to keep and you just right click and say remove other columns. So this will remove all the other columns and only keep the columns that you need to keep. Then here, I would want this to be number and this to be a percentage. But you will see what will happen here if I just put percentage here. If I say right click and change type and I say I want it to be a percentage, it will tell me that there is an error. There's an error. Why? Because my Excel, because of the way I set up my Excel, it doesn't read comma or full stop as a comma. It reads it differently. It reads it as text. So what I have to do is I have to just replace values. So this is one of the transformation steps you can do as well. So I just replace full stop with a comma. Then I say okay. So you can see all my full stops have been changed to commas. At this point now I can be able to transform it and change type to percentage, and it will work properly. Same applies to also here, comma and I have to remove the comma because my Excel is not reading that this comma is just 1,000 separator. So I have to replace it. So I'll just say replace values. Then I say I want to replace comma with nothing in this case. Then I can change it to a number. So I can say change type and it's a whole number. Population cannot be in decimals. Then I can just see, here you can see actually that my data is almost 100% or is actually 100% accurate. You can just highlight or you click on the green here or just hover over this green bar here and you see that it's telling me that there are no errors within the data. Let me just go a few steps behind. Let me just go back on my transformation steps here and go to change type here. You would see that in some columns, it's telling me that there is an error. So it's saying 34% error. So before I load my data, I need to make sure that I don't have error. So I would need to go first and inspect what is causing the error and fix it. So that is if I wanted to load this column. But for now, I don't have to be worried because I'm not loading these columns. So I can go ahead. Also on the view, what you can do is you can also say I want to view also the quality of my data. So if I go a few steps back, you'll see if I go to before removed columns, you'll see the quality of my data. Here the quality of my data is 86%. So it means I have 14% invalid data. I have to fix it before I load it. And also here it's showing me that I have no valid data. It's saying dash here and 14% error and others are empty. So you can see, and you need to fix it before you load your data. So I can see it's quite a nice tool to just keep this column ticked, which says show quality of my column. Okay. Then also remember that it doesn't get loaded to your workbook. So this is just here on the interface. So it doesn't get loaded. It doesn't corrupt your data. Then I can go back to home. So now that I've changed everything, I can then now say close and load. So because I had already loaded it to a table previously, remember, I loaded it directly without editing it first. So because I've loaded it already, you can see I don't have now the option close and load to choose where I want to load it to because it's already in a table. So I'll just say close and load. And it will come and update this table to remove all the columns that I don't want and update the columns that I had made changes on. You can see that the population here is not in a proper format. I will just change the format here and change it to number. Oh, I can change it to, okay, then I change this to percentage. So this is exactly what I have here. So where I changed it to, yeah, I did use the custom. Then I inserted a chart. I don't need to go all the steps of inserting a chart. The chart you can just insert, but we were just going through the concept of importing the data. So I have my data imported from a table on a website. So next time I want to send an updated refresh, an updated report, I don't have to go back and start querying the table all over again, or go to the website and copy paste the table, make sure I have selected the full table. I don't need to do that. I already have the clean data here. All I need to do is to refresh, and once it's done refreshing, my report is ready to be sent, and I can distribute the report. So this is the beauty of Power Query. You can make use of it. You can see here it's telling me the source of the data, and you can actually send this as a summary to the person you are sharing the data with, to say this is what I'm sharing with you. I'm sending you, this is the sample of the data I'm sending, and this is the source of the data which I'm using. And you can say view in worksheet, and it will open the tab where you have loaded the data. So this is the tab where I've loaded the data. You can also do, what you can also do on this screen is to select the column and be able to see the column that you want to see. So that's it, guys. Thank you so much. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to hit the like button, and also subscribe to my channel so that you can be updated when I load new videos. Thank you. Bye-bye.